Greetings. How are everyone doing on tonight? Welcome, welcome, welcome to the Simply Free Little Talk. And my special guest tonight is Dr. Lamarr Spencer. And I am so excited for not only you, but for me as well, because she is a relationship specialist. She is a person who strategizes with her clients how to decrease levels of stress. Now, in today's society, that is a golden ticket all of us need to get to a person that is going to equip us with the tools and the skills that we need. So I will not hold her up any further. I'm going to bring in Dr. Lamarr Spencer, and she's going to share some information with each one of us on how to cope with the stress of the day and also how to manage your relationships in a positive with positive outcomes. Hello, Dr. Lamarr.
Hi, how are you?
I'm great. It's so good to see you in person again. I love it. I love it. I love it.
Absolutely. Likewise.
Welcome to the Simply Free Little Talk, and where you can give us some of those amazing nuggets of yours. I'm going to go ahead and let everybody know who my guest is today.
Oh my goodness, you're too much. Look, you give me way too much accolades and attention.
I love it. I love it. But and she's just a really down home girl. Let me say that resides in New Jersey. Her main hobby is the mommy and daughter time, and they do so much together. Her and her daughter. Say your daughter's beautiful name.
Her name is Aaliyah Renee, so we actually have
Miss.
the same middle name.
Yes, isn't that something? Aaliyah Renee, and you guys have a publishing company together.
Yes, we it's called Aaliyah and Lamarr Publications, and
Yes.
which is going to bring us into this topic, a great segue, because the company was based on one thing, and that was mental wellness. And
Yes.
so we created that during the pandemic because I noticed initially that so many people during that time were really suffering from some type of mental health.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And on top of that, I needed something for her to do because they were,
So that was an alternative plan to
yes,
that too.
yes, they were actually going to school virtually. So I said,
Okay.
this is the best time. And not just that, but I wanted her to have something that, let's just say, for instance, she goes to college or something,
Hmm.
or decides not to go to college, she has something to kind of fall back on that's hers. You know how workforce can be. They lay you off within, you're there, and then next thing you know, you get a pink slip. So I wanted her
So
to have
true.
something. Yeah. So that's the main, reasons why.
That is interesting. And you're also on Facebook with your publication, you and Aaliyah. And I love the motto or the statement that you make that I want to read it. You help business professionals to obtain a work-life balance,
Yeah.
which we all need,
Yes.
and to heal from fractured relationships.
Yes.
Kind of elaborate on how the process works with you assisting the others in healing the fractured relationship.
Sure, absolutely. Well, that actually, believe it or not, that was about 20 years in the making. I was always helping people with these things because I needed help. So I
Mhm.
actually had mentors along the way. I was in coaching, I was in therapy, and it was things that I struggled with. So I know times people will say, well, why would you pick relationships and work life balance? And the
Mhm.
reason why is because if you fall short with your career, you're excelling in your career, your relationships are going to suffer without a doubt. And
Yes,
I know so often people say I can have it all, and you can. You just can't always have it all optimally. So
that's good.
you're going to have fractured relationships, and relationships aren't just like intimate relationships, but it's your relationships with your colleagues, it's
Mhm.
your relationships with your clergy, your congregation, your neighbors, your friendships. All of these people actually are people that you have relationships with and to. We don't look at
Wow.
it that way. We think a relationship is being like your spouse, your significant other,
Mhm.
or even your children. But the most important relationship is actually with yourself.
That's good.
I struggled with work life balance. I struggled
Mm.
because I worked long hours
Mhm.
and I could not give even my family like 100%. Like my daughter, she plays soccer, and I'd be on the field on my laptop. So I was there, but mentally I was somewhere else because I figured, you know
Mm.
what? As long as I keep the lights on, I'm good. But your family needs your attention. So those relationships actually are fractured.
Hmm. That's interesting that you state that, because so often we're in such a routine every day that we don't stop. We need to pause,
Mhm.
as you stated, and recognize that my relationships are challenged because
Yeah,
I'm working long hours. I'm physically at my daughter's baseball game or practice, or even at home with my family, but my mind is somewhere else, constantly thinking about what's the next proposal deadline,
yeah.
what I have to do in the office the next day. So you have worked with business professionals for over 25 years as your clients to assist them in a strategy, correct? So you call it the life alignment strategy.
Yes.
Kind of elaborate on what that is.
Sure. Well, actually, I thought it was like a relationship business coach, but
Mhm.
someone said to me not too long ago, she's like, no, you're like a life alignment strategist. And I said, well,
Wow.
yeah. She said, because you help people align their lives.
Hmm.
You strategize it. So even in my 9 to 5, I work in the strategy area. So
Oh.
work in the strategy area, I'm always coming up with ways. So my clients, and I do this individually, they come up with different strategies on how to give their careers 100%,
Mm.
and also their lives 100%.
Hmm.
And I know sometimes people say, well, there's not enough hours in the day, but truly there are. It's just that we have to better manage our time.
Mm. So time management is a part of those career achievement goals.
Right. And for me, I have a daughter. I want to focus on her. So I
Yes.
didn't want to be the CEO of the company. I didn't want to be like the C-suite manager, and C-suite
Mhm.
executives. I didn't want that because if I did have that, then of course it would not allow me to spend time with her. And even at the time I
Mhm.
was married. So that was a part of that whole fractured relationship.
Oh,
So often we don't like to say it affects our marriages, but it does.
it
And it,
does.
mhm,
So this is a cycle that many of us have found ourselves in, but really did not know we had a way of escape, or that there was an individual like yourself that is willing to assist me in my life to realign it with
mhm,
a strategy, with a plan of action. So what
yeah,
does that plan of action look like in your initial assessment of that individual's life?
sure. So the first time, we meet, I'll see if we're even compatible. If you like my
Oh.
service, and then also if I feel I can help you. I don't take everyone because for me, this is more of a ministry and not a business.
Hmm. Hmm.
So we
That's
are
good.
like, yeah, we are friends, really. And I don't even say that, I say I help you. I don't say I coach you. I help you along the way. So our first initial conversation is free. And don't get me wrong, I have people calling me, like my clients will call me, or anyone will call me and be like, hey, I got a question. I don't think that everything should be a charge. So let me just say that.
Mhm.
Okay. Everything is not. I don't do 60 minutes or whatever. I just, we will talk until you feel like it is over. So that's
Yes.
what happens. So the first time we'll talk, I get to know who you are and what you want help with. And so we'll lay out a plan. Now, I always tell people, I said, look, it takes at least 28 days to break a cycle. We're not going to break it in 2 or 3 weeks. It's not going to happen, even though by the second week, you're going to see some improvements, but it's
Yes.
not going to happen because it needs to be a consistent pattern.
Hmm.
So I may ask, Okay, for just like for instance, if you want help with the work-life balance, I'll say, okay, give me your typical day and then your typical week. And so I'll draw that out and then I'll ask, okay, so what is it that you want to focus on moving forward or even next week when we meet? So you may say, or a good example would be, okay, well, you know what? I want to get up a little earlier because maybe I want to go to the gym,
Mhm.
or I want to get up a little earlier because I want to get off earlier so I can take my son or my daughter to practice. Or you know what? I just want to do nothing. Like I have a client now where she wants to, it's Ramadan. So she
Mhm.
wants to get up a little earlier. She wants to exercise and pray and things like that. And, be active with her fasting and things. So we look at a plan for the next week. So by the time we finish the call, they'll usually say yes, and then I'll say, okay, well, we're looking at about. I'll estimate the time. It could be 3 or 4 months, and then that night I'll type out what we discussed and
Mhm.
a plan of action for the following.
Okay.
So when the following week comes, at least one or two of those things you should be working on. So I give you homework. It's all about accountability. It's
Yes.
it's like being a basketball player. Well, we know LeBron is great, right? But he still has a coach to keep him
Mhm.
accountable. So
That's
I
good.
text them throughout the week, not bother them. It could be like, hey, what are you working on? Hey, what did you do? Hey, did you wake up at 7:15 like you said you
Mhm.
were? And it doesn't have to be every day. Like
Yeah.
even if you miss a couple of things or miss whatever it is, it's fine. At least you started. You took the
Mhm.
initiative. So the next week when we talk, I say, okay, so what are the wins for last week? What did you change? What did you do? So that's kind of like how it is. So we start, coming up with like an active list. So when you first start, I give a journal. So the journal is to help you be accountable. And so I've had people say, I have 5 and 6. I got sticky notes everywhere. I got 5 or 6 journals in my phone. I said, no, you need one journal. That's it. And I'm going to give you the journal. So you put it on
Okay.
your phone and you hold yourself accountable, and we know life happens, traffic happens, weather happens. You have a project that gets, that you're hit with. It's okay.
Yes. Yes.
The difference of me and others, and the reason why I said it is because I've had coaches, so I get it, is throughout that time you have 24-hour access to me. Because at 2, 3 in the morning, and I have bad sleeping habits. I've had people say, "Hey, you know what? I just thought about this," and I'm like, "Okay, you know what? Let's jump on a call real quick, or text me, or have a way your mode of conversation is. Let's work on it. Okay, you know what? Add this or take that. And that's what it is. Now, those are my work-life balance people.
Mhm.
My relationship people can be different. It could be you're a caregiver to a parent or in-law, or or just a child. You're like sometimes we have people who are ill. You may be a caregiver and you're trying to balance that with your job.
Mhm.
We work on that. And that's really more about, okay, how can we better manage your time, but how can I get you to sort of recenter, so you're not stressed out and you're not
Yes.
lashing out, because that could happen. Or
Mhm.
I have people where they want to start dating again. I have that, and they're usually like, middle aged, so they want to start dating, or they could be a little older. They want to start dating, so they're like, okay, I want to try dating websites, and I'm like, okay, what does that look like? What type of person you are? So we'll
Yes.
create a profile. I have people who want to date, but I also have people who, like, neighbors. They have problems with their neighbors. That's a relationship. If your neighbor is across the street from you or down the street, you need to have a relationship with your neighbors. You go on vacation. You kind of want your neighbor to watch out for your house, even if you're in a good neighborhood. You need to build that relationship. So, how can we build that relationship with you and your neighbor? They may not come and knock on your door every day. You may not knock on their door every day. But if something happens, do you always have that quote
Mhm.
unquote, like that nosy neighbor? You know, Right. Because a nosy neighbor is great. I have a nosy,
Yes,
and
absolutely.
yes, he watches out. So I'm sorry. You probably hear my dog squeaking back here. And I'm so sorry. Every time I get on a live, it's like he has to make himself known. I'm sorry, but that's just
Oliver Woody wants to be acknowledged,
I
and
know.
I will take full responsibility. Forgive me, Oliver Woody. I failed to acknowledge you. So I'm going to publicly apologize to Oliver Woody
Yes,
because
Oliver.
he says, I want your attention free.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. And you already know Oliver. Like Oliver is like a part. He is
Oliver
a
wants
part.
attention.
Yes, Oliver is like our little poodle, and he is a part of my work-life balance.
See?
Okay, he is. So, but yeah, your neighbors or like pandemic. I
Yes.
posted this a couple of times, and I have people, and honestly, I know I'm probably going to get dinged for it, but I have people who constantly call their pastors, their
Yes.
ministers, and the minister is like, okay, he had to or she has to figure out how can I balance my congregation in my home
Mm,
and my job possibly. So I had
exactly.
a lot of clergy call me because they were stressed out.
Mm,
Because if you have a stressed congregation, they're going to call the pastor. But meanwhile, the pastor or the minister is stressed out too. They're losing their churches because
mm,
they're virtual, so people are not necessarily sending in their tithes and offering.
mm.
They're also maybe going through reorganization at their jobs and then maybe at the church. I mean, people have gotten COVID, their congregation. So it's like, okay, how do I
Yeah.
deal with that? Because they're stressed. So I have to say, your leaders get stressed out too, and they're coming
Yes.
from coaching. So if
Wow.
you're out there, please call me because I've had so many, and believe it or not, I get more men than women. I was shocked, but I was so happy. I get more men than women. So
I'm elated to hear that.
yes, I was so happy. I'm like, okay, great, thank you. I was so
Yes.
happy because I thought it was going to be the complete opposite. But yes, they're stressed out too. And you know what? Honestly, a lot of times we don't realize like our leaders, they don't have anyone to talk to but each other. And they may not want to talk to each other.
Mm-mm.
So yes, but that's another part of it. So the bottom line is I get some of everyone. Those are my focal areas, but honestly, I don't really turn anyone down unless it's completely out of my realm.
Mhm.
I get people who are just like, I can't cope. I had a death. I just can't cope. I don't know what to do. I help them with coping skills. So it's a lot. Like I said, I can go on and on, but I just I get some of everyone, and I don't
Oh,
turn.
and I'm glad you do, though,
Yeah.
because people need help. I commend anyone, and let me stress this to anyone listening. You are a wise individual when you take the time. Self-care, that self-care is extremely important. But when you go out and you seek someone like yourself that is a life alignment strategist, you're giving us a plan of action so that we can execute a more healthier lifestyle and a balance. That's so crucial.
Yes,
That's
and
so
let me just
crucial.
yeah, let me just say this, right? So yeah, I help people to do this. It's
Mhm.
easier sometimes to help other people than yourself
Oh,
because
yes. Oh,
it is.
yes.
We've had like extensive conversations, and I'll tell you flat out, like, you know what? I missed the mark this whole week.
We
You
do
know
that.
I missed it, but it's easy to get a plan together for someone else. It's easy,
Mhm.
and it's easy to keep them accountable. But for
Yes.
me, yes. And a lot of times I don't realize what a mess I am until I'll do a live like this and then I'll look and I'm like, gosh, like, I like could have put some dirt on my face or some of my
Oh,
eyebrows or
no.
my mess, my hair, because it's just like, yeah, like when they say therapists need therapists or cooks just
Yes.
don't cook at home, like that is the honest to God's truth.
Hmm.
There's
That
times,
is true.
yeah, I'm a mess, and there's times where it could be someone like you. I'll call you and I'll be like, look,
Yeah.
I'm like tired. and I'm cranky and I am just like all over the place, So I'm not afraid to reach
No.
out to someone and say, hey, and I always tell people, I'm like, just because a person has a title in front or behind
Mm-mm.
their name, or just because they do this professionally, don't think that that's what it is, because a lot of
Not
times
at all.
we're falling apart too. And we pick up your energies.
Yes.
If you're hurting and going through, we go through as well. We're going through a double because we're picking up
Come on, say that.
your energy and our family's energy. And a lot of times our family is falling apart too because we're busy trying to help someone else out, and that's just, it's the truth. I mean, a lot of times I can't even do what I need to do because I'm helping someone else out. And I know people don't always want to admit it, but I feel like people learn from other people and projects, right?
Mm-hmm.
I'll tell people in a minute, like, I am a
Mm.
project. you know,
Yes. A
I am.
project in the process. We're in the progress of trying. We're under construction ourselves. Yes.
Yes, yes. I'm like a whole construction site. I
I
mean,
am also.
yeah. And it's
I
times
am
where,
also. Yes.
like people, you have that saying, they'll say, my plate is running over. No, I don't have a plate. I have a platter. I do. It is.
Hi, Woody. I mean, hi, Oliver Woody.
I know. My daughter's going to grab him. I'm like, get him before we get on.
No. He
Yes.
said he said, Free, you failed to acknowledge me, and I did. So he's acting out.
Well, you're older. He better be saying Miss Free.
He's
He
gonna
better,
get on you.
he
But
better get that title together now.
I love it. Now, Lamarr, you know what I really admire about you is the extensive study and research that you've done. And we don't get into all those titles just because you're a doctor with a PhD. You're a person that this is your passion to help others. And I like the way you said, I help them.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times we get caught up in the life coach or the professional life coach or whatever the titles, like you said, but you like to get to the root cause, and you've written several articles and done presentations. So if I was a corporation, oh, okay, you
No,
got to
keep
go get. Is that Oliver Woody? He
no,
he wants to
no,
interrupt.
like, yeah. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No,
I want.
you're fine. I was just really getting ready to get you to speak about several of the the articles that you've done and the presentations that you do. And so you really do help the corporate world as well. So if I was a corporation that wanted to reach out to you to do like a conference virtually, how would we go about locating you?
Sure. So they can reach out to me, Morse code. No, I'm joking. So they can
They
reach
may
out.
know that better.
Yeah. They can call me at 973-214-6464.
I'll put that
They can email me at Dr. Lamarr Spencer at Gmail, and that's DrLamarrspencer at Gmail, or on my website at drlamarrspencer.com.
and then they can look you up on Facebook
Yes,
with
Facebook.
you and Elias.
They can just type in the word Dr. Lamarr Spencer. I think I have
Yes.
my middle name, but they can type in Dr. Lamarr Spencer. They can type that in, or I think it's Dr. Lamarr Renee Spencer. They can
Yes.
go on
On some things.
Yes, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So I'm really accessible. If you type my name in, trust me, you'll find. And this is another thing too. I get like, this is like my personal cell phone number, and I know people don't always like to do it, but again,
Yeah.
I like simplicity. I like to
Yes,
have
you do.
one number out there. I'm not one of those ones where you can have like two numbers of one phone, because then I'll forget, how to. I'm not really good with technology, so if you want all the bells and whistles, like, I'm not it. This is what it is. I'm not.
Simplicity, guys. Simplicity with her.
I'm just a simple typer. I was asking Miss Free. I said, "Oh wow, you have a nice backdrop. This is it.
Yeah.
You can find papers on the table or something like that." I'm probably trying to hide it, but this is it, because I'd rather dedicate the time to help
Yeah.
you versus have
That's true.
you know
That is true of her
bells
word.
and
Her
whistles.
word is true.
Yeah, the bells and
Yeah, I
whistles.
gotta tell him but then I love, and I'll say this now that you've opened that door. I'll say this. She is really a down to earth person. When we talk, we're not, oh, doctor this or person. We don't worry about degrees and all that. We're having a Lamarr, what's going on? Girl, I'm
Yeah,
tired. This client did da 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 da. You know, I gotta complete this contract and I can't sleep. And she's giving me the same thing. That's what friendship establishes, but it's also keeping it real. I'm not
yeah,
trying to tell her, oh, everything's wonderful and jolly over here in Texas, and she's in New Jersey and everything's wonderful there.
yeah,
No, we have issues too. We have things that we face.
yeah.
So that's good to have somebody you can be transparent with and you say, this is what's going on.
Yeah. And I don't even like people to call me Lamarr. I mean, Dr. Lamarr.
I
I
know.
just remember we first
That's why I
met.
said Lamarr. So
Yeah.
that
I was like, oh, I don't even like that, right?
Mhm.
Because to me, like I said, we're friends, and I just don't like. Honestly, I get embarrassed. I know that's weird. I know some
I
people.
understand.
I get embarrassed because I feel like we are like friends. I'm helping you, but like
Mhm.
I said, a lot of times people are helping me. Yeah,
Yes.
I do help. Don't get me wrong, but I just, you know, I knock out the titles because at the end of the day, we both go through.
We
It's just
do.
like, yeah, I help you. But even last night, my dentist, and I'm gonna give a funny story, right? My dentist, and I probably shouldn't say it because it's unprofessional, but my dentist like, Lamarr, I can't believe you called me at like midnight. And I was like, I can't even believe you know I called you at midnight. And I did. I didn't expect him to answer. I always feel like, I'm up, so out he'll get it the next
Yeah.
day. And so what happened? I'm eating a mint and cracked my tooth.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I told him, I said, look, I can't even turn to the side because my tooth is cracked.
Yeah.
And I got to go on this live tomorrow. And, like, I don't have a tooth. So he made like, he's really good. He made this like fake tooth and he said, we're twins because my tooth came out too.
Oh, wow.
He gave me this fake tooth and I'm like, oh my gosh. So the one tooth is in my purse. And like I'm saying, like I go through things too.
Yes. Well, we're human. And I personally I think it's healthy for you to be so transparent. I
Yeah,
think it's healthy when you talk things out, when you face it and get rid of it. See, my motto on that. I don't want to hold that stuff. I want to get rid of it. I want to
yeah,
release it. But healthy, not just screaming at the top of your lungs, but address it. You
yeah,
know, face on, deal with it, and then move on,
yeah,
because I'm not going to stress out behind foolishness, and no
yeah,
one should.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, so that's
absolutely.
good.
Yeah. So yeah, but like I said, we all go through things, and it's easier, like I said, to help someone else out versus
Always.
myself. I'm walking out, trip, papers everywhere. Got to get my daughter to school. We're
Yeah.
running late for that. I mean, because we overslept. So look, I mean, but I can tell you, hey, did you wake up at such and such a time, and keep you accountable. But sometimes
Exactly.
I'm like all over the place. So the bottom line is we all fall short.
We
And
all do. We
me,
all do.
you know, we all do. So it's great. But I went down because I wanted to um introduce this new book that I came out that I
Come
wrote.
on.
Yeah.
I'm honored. Thank you, Lamar. Go
Thank
ahead.
you.
Tell us the new
Look,
book.
this is the first time I'm showing it, like
I
literally.
know. Yeah, I'm excited. And then if you have your others, please show people those too. Oh, now you know I love colors. So that is beautiful.
Yes.
I'm
So
trying
I
to
didn't
the
write this
depths.
alone.
Yes.
So
Okay.
there are 9 of us on
Love
here.
it. 9 of you guys collaborated. See, I love collaboration. I love that
Yes.
working together and giving everybody their acknowledgement. That's beautiful.
Yes. So this book is called The Depths and Diversity Within
Oh, I got to
Relationships.
get
Let's
that.
talk about it. Yes, let's talk about it.
Yes, let's talk
So,
about it. Wow.
yes, so that is available as of today. But let me just tell you the importance of these things, right?
Please.
So, of the relationship.
Thanks
Again,
for sharing.
thank you.
Oh, a simply free little stuff. Thank
Yes,
you,
it's
Lamar.
not just intimate relationships, but it is about I talk about the relationship of
Mhm.
and the importance of having a relationship with fathers and daughters because my
Yes.
father has PTSD. He was an Army vet, Vietnam vet. So I
Mm.
talked about that. Another person talked about the relationship between her garden and her, and how
Okay.
that was therapeutic.
Very,
Yeah,
very much so.
yes. And I have someone else who talked about how she lived in Brooklyn, no, sorry, Queens, and how everyone played a part in raising her. And so she talks about
Mm.
how it takes a village and how there were different religions, but they all came together for family. She talked about that. I have someone else who talked about PTSD. She was in the military, her husband's in the military, and her son is in the military, and how that relationship is fractured because they all have PTSD. My other lady, she talked about the mothers in her life, and the
Mm.
mothers were the ladies that she was in foster care, and how they all played an intricate role in her being an adult, to where when she became adult, she had to mend the relationship between she and her mother. So
Beautiful.
she talked about that, and then we ended with, now it's a couple others in there, but that's really the, we ended it with the last goodbye, and the last goodbye was the someone, her mother had cancer, and now the roles switched, so she became a mom of mom.
Yes, that's now that's a tough one there.
Yes,
That's a tough one there.
and it was hard for her to let go because they had such a strong bond.
Mhm.
So we ended it with, and her chapter is called "The Last Goodbye." So
The
we
last
started with
goodbye.
me, who talked about the father, and then we ended it with her, "The Last Goodbye." So
Mm.
it's powerful. It really is. And it's something in there for everyone. You're gonna laugh, you're gonna cry, but at the end of the day, you're gonna be able to, these stories are gonna resonate with, they resonate
It's
with.
going to be personally relatable.
Yeah.
So, with that being said, where can we purchase this new book? And then I want you to share your other books as well, and the coloring book that you do. I do. I want you to let him. I'm excited to announce that here on the show. You always
Thank
surprise me,
you.
Lamar. You always do.
Thank you. Well, it took us a
Even at
year.
2 o'clock in the morning, guys, we have some great conversations.
Yeah, because both of us are like crazy and can't sleep. This just came out. It took us a year. It just came out because we had to
Okay.
redo the cover, redo different things, because it had to be. We wanted it to be perfect, and we wanted to be
Yes.
personal. And then also we actually had a control number because we from the Library of Congress, because we want to put it in, maybe colleges and universities, so it
Perfect.
can help someone. Because I
It will. It will. And it's called Depths.
the sorry, yeah, I'll put it in there. It's called
Yes.
the depths and diversity within
Diversity.
relationships. I'm not good with
Yes.
this. Yeah,
See, that's why you had to come on the show, because so many people deal with. I love it. I love it. I see it. I see it. But I'm going to support and purchase it.
and yeah,
And I love easy reading. You know that I told you that I'm an avid reader about anything that empowers me.
yes,
And those sounds like the stories of each author is going to be relatable, but also encouraging you. And you're going to have, like you said, I know some tears are going to just be. Yes.
exactly. And so the reason why it took us a year, because people kept going back, including me, like, yeah, no, I'm not going to put out. Yeah, I'm gonna put it out, because it became therapeutic. Because once you start talking about yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then it becomes therapeutic, and so
True.
it becomes part of the right. And then also we had to understand that our family and friends are going to be reading this. So how would they feel about that? Because now you're opening up Pandora's box.
Yes.
You know?
Yes. I knew you were going to give some good nuggets. I'm always ready to write.
Yeah.
And
Yes.
you have. Yes.
And I didn't know all these ladies. I did not
You
know
don't
them.
have to.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what happened was I knew three of them, and I said three, right? I said three. I meant
You
three.
said three with two fingers up.
There was two
That's
fingers.
okay.
You know what I mean? You see? So I knew three of them. And so I said, let's write an anthology. I had never heard of an anthology. So if
Mm,
anyone out there is interested in writing a book, believe me, you can do it. I have
be
never read.
encouraged. Yes.
I've never written an anthology. I've always written like scholarly journals, like the
Yeah.
boring stuff. I've never done this.
She
So
said boring stuff.
yeah, I never did. So I want to encourage people to do it because everybody has a story to tell.
Everyone
Yeah,
does.
especially people
Yes.
of color. We always got a funny story or something. So I knew three, and then they knew someone else, and then so and so knew someone else. So we're in all different parts of the country. We did not know
Oh.
each other. So it was like friend of a friend of a friend. Hey, come
I
on.
think that's, I know that's beautiful. Now that I think it is, it's
Yeah.
beautiful.
And so we had deadlines, but people, life happens, right? So you have three coaches like writing this book, and you would think, okay, it's easy. No, we had to keep going back. And then on top of that, we did it like, I'm, I'm my sister's keeper. So if somebody was
Yes.
wrong,
I love it.
yeah, we're like, look, dictate it. Dictating your phone, I'm gonna write it out for you. So, and we encouraged each other. So it became
Yes.
therapeutic for us within because we were
Mhm.
like, if we start this, we're all gonna finish together.
That's it. That's it. Oh
Yeah,
my God. If people could get that principle right
yeah.
there.
We finished together. So if it took you an extra week or two or three or four, whatever, to write, okay, fine. Like we're here. We got
Mm.
you. And so each person in here, or like I have four people. So one of my co-authors, because now we're co-authors. I didn't even
Yes.
want my name on the title of
Yes.
cover. I didn't want that. And they were like, no, it was your idea. You need to. So that's why it says empowered. I didn't
Mhm.
come up with that. The co-author did. So
Oh,
my co-author did the cover while we were on the phone.
yeah.
And then another lady, she edited it, and then we had somebody who formatted it. So each person played a part that again, we're not like,
Mm.
we weren't like writers. We
But
weren't.
that's good. The collaboration itself just makes it even richer. Of us,
Yeah.
everyone's story is really rich now.
Yeah, we weren't.
Yeah.
So this is how it came. We were
Yeah.
like, we're gonna just put it out because this is what we're gonna do. But it was a collaboration, trust me. So I'm saying that because you can have a relationship or not that starts,
Mhm.
and then by the time you finish, you never know. Like I said, we learn from people and projects.
Mhm.
And there were
Mhm.
times where I called one of them and I was like, I can't do this because this is getting really like too much for me. I'm talking about like
Mhm.
my family. And then we encouraged each other. They encouraged me like, no, you keep doing it. And then they did the same thing. So that's why I said these relationships are important. So I can talk forever, you know that, but I wasn't prepared for this. So let me just grab these books and they're right here, of course. So because I want everyone to see, what they're about and go from there. Look, I actually have a couple right here. Yes. So give me 2 seconds.
No, you're fine, Lamar. We'll just wrap it up. We're looking at your books, but also while you're looking, if people can still hear you, so
Oh,
share with them how important relationships truly are.
oh my goodness. Relationships are important. And let me tell you, I know it sounds like, okay, relationships are important. When I say relationships are important, without my relationships, honestly, I can't even get through the day, right? And the reason why I say that is because in the morning I may have someone send me. Sorry, my computer's turning. I may
It's okay.
have someone send me like uh, uh, like some type of Bible verse.
Yes.
Okay, I have that. It's always good to have to jumpstart. And then
Yes.
I may have someone throughout the day where either they're calling me because they want help or something, and then it turned out like, wait a minute, I need help in this. So what you think about this? Bouncing ideas. But then ultimately, like I have to say, my biggest and best coach has been my mother, right? Because she really is. She keeps me in check, like literally. Every
Yes.
day she gives me some type of project and she doesn't even realize it. Like she's like my accountability coach. Okay. So that's what she does. But then also like I have my daughter. Like
Mhm.
keeps me laughing. She always has like something going on with school. So that's a good thing too. I have like a teenager now. So, but
Yes.
But yeah, but it's like the other day, and even in my groups, like we talk about my groups on Facebook. It could be someone who says something, funny, inspiration or whatever, and
Mm-hmm.
I notice it. It's like, and even how we met, so it's
Yes.
like even when we met, like I was really having a time that day. I was like, oh my God, this is like crazy, So I think God sends people in your life for different reasons,
Yes.
you know.
And at the appointed time. And at the appointed
Yeah.
time.
Right. He sends people in your life for a reason, So I have that. And then I'm in like different groups. Like I'm in a group where we talk about porch decorating. I'm in
Live.
a group where we talk about believe it or not, like shoot, how to make wreaths. I have a group,
Uh-huh.
where we just it's called like moms who are stressed. So I mean
Yes.
you know, and then, and then I'm in groups where people just want to vent, so they just go in there and just dump, right? So I don't go in there as Dr. Lamarr, strategist. I go in there just me, and I'm like, look, this is
Yes.
crazy, y'all.
And you help, and you, like you said, you help people. And
Yeah,
that's so important because we all need this.
yeah,
So, Lamar, before we wrap it up,
uh-huh,
I love to end with nuggets, wisdom nuggets, wisdom nuggets. I tell you, if we would pay attention and stay tuned to wisdom nuggets and stay in tune with wisdom
yeah,
nuggets, we could go so much further. So give us some wisdom nuggets regarding relationships. And, because you just explained how important relationships are and the various relationships, you've already named them. But just give us some nuggets of how to maintain our relationships or how to decrease the stress.
yeah. I always say, wake up in the morning, and the first thing you do is make your bed, right? And I know that sounds so simple, but it's the
Mm,
first thing you complete in the morning, right? Make
yes.
your bed. Don't answer your cell phone. Don't even look at your cell phone. Make your bed and recenter yourself. But then also throughout the day, make sure you have a purpose and you know what that purpose is, right? Always have a purpose. And then the next thing is just make sure that the people in your life, you don't take them for granted. Just,
Yes.
I don't
Very
care.
important. We don't take one another for granted.
Just say,
Yes.
thank you. I appreciate you. Because
Yeah.
they say tomorrow's not promised, but heck, the next hour ain't promised, right? So just make sure you show people appreciation. And again, it's not all about materialistic things because we can get that.
Mm-mm.
Those
Yes. You can.
we're just God just let us borrow, right?
Yes. Yeah. Come on.
Right. And then because I always tell people when that hearse pull you, Brink's truck ain't gonna follow it. You're not gonna
Not at all.
unless somebody put like a check in your pocket or something, but you're not going to take it with you. So
Wow.
the titles, materialistic things mean nothing. Know who you are. What is your value? If you had
That's
nothing,
good.
if you had nothing, you were stripped down. Who
Wow.
are you? So
Yes.
that's what it is. So make sure you have a purpose.
Mm-hmm.
Make sure you know your value.
Know your value.
Yes.
That right there will help a lot of people if they would understand their value.
Yes, know
Wow.
your value. And I'm not talking about having like $20,000 in the bank.
Mm-mm.
I'm talking about
No,
knowing who you are,
that's true.
right? As a person. But
Yeah.
I want to finish with this because I have
Yes,
like,
go. Yeah, yeah. Let's end with the books because they're so good. They're golden.
so we can talk all night. So
Yeah.
this one is called, I'm sorry, Don't Get It
Don't get it
Twisted.
twisted. Now,
Yeah.
when you first put that one, I loved it. I
Yes.
love it.
So this is like a compilation of cool sayings that people say all the time. I'm sorry, I can't. And it's
Put
saying,
some
some
respect on my name. Yes.
so
I'm just helping you out by reading them.
yeah, no, yeah, no, I love it.
Yes. Well, Lamar, go ahead and share with them that you guys do this for youth. And so that's why we're working on a collaboration with Art. I've announced it
Oh,
months
yeah.
back.
Yes.
Yeah.
So these books can be for kids, teens, and adults. And the reason why is because I know sometimes people only do like books or something for adults or just kids, but I feel like this. I wanted something that if a kid decide they want to pick it up, it's still fine. It's not going to have
Yes.
any like craziness in there. And plus, I want my mother to be able to say, you know what, it's okay. Like get her blessing on that.
Yes.
and my father too. I'm sorry. Yeah, my parents. I have
Don't leave
four.
your dad out.
Yes, I have four parents. I have a mother, a stepmother, a father, and a stepfather. And let me just tell you, like they're all there. Like my father actually lives next door to me. Okay, so I don't
Yeah.
want to think like they're all there, like really there. You know,
Yes.
always
And
feeling like
active in your busy life.
yes, they are. So I can't do this alone. So let me just say that, right? But yeah, everybody can read these books. So this
Yes.
was
Easy
like
reading.
yes, this was like a Black History inspiration.
Love it. It's beautiful.
And then we have, I'm not going to show it to me because I know we have to go, but this is
No.
another one.
Okay, perfect. Notebook. Yeah, because you have the notebook, you have the journal,
Yeah, we have the journals
the
and
coloring books.
we have, let me show you so another, like, yeah, we have some for like other people, you know, so notebooks. We have some for the kids too, but this is some for the teachers. It says, I teach for the reaction. And then we have one for the kids say, I learned chemistry for the
I
reaction.
learned chemistry. And you know what? So an educator would gravitate to a book like that because then they can kind of introduce that to their students.
Yes, I do. And one more, and then I'm gonna let you go because I know you know we gotta go. But you know me, um, I talk way too much.
No, you're fine. I'm glad you're showing your books. But what we're going to do is we're going to acknowledge that these things can, that they can find you on Facebook.
Yeah, and this is a little journal. Yeah. So yeah, find it
Yes.
on Facebook. We have that business is, and I'm gonna give you all the links. That one is called
Yes.
leahandlamar.com, and then it's a Leah and Lamar publication. So and what my group the so it's two separate groups, but the Leah Lamar monthly we have like what we
Uh-huh.
call sip and colors, but it's not like we're drinking alcohol and all. Like your kids can actually come.
I'm
Like,
glad you explained that.
you know, your kids can actually come because I don't drink. I usually drink like
Yes.
hot water or something like that, you know. So that's flavored water. So we do that. And again, because I have people's like mothers in there, their
Mm-hmm.
grandmothers, and you know, so again, I wanted something where everyone can come along, you know, and
Yes.
then we give out free coloring pages, and then we talk about mental health in the coloring book group. So
And
like
that's good.
60% of it is mental wellness. And then the other part is the book. So you're
It's
going
the
to get
book.
something every day we post. So yes, I will give you the link so you can share them even with the
Yes.
books and go from there. I know it's a lot, but yeah, that's what it is.
No, but it's needed. It's so necessary. You know, I've been waiting to have you on the show just
Yeah.
so that you could share about the importance of the mental health and just wealthy living, healthy and wealthy living,
Yes.
mentally, physically, and spiritually. And you have been given a strategy that you're sharing with others now. You're assisting us in the children, you know,
Yes.
so now you're making it a collaborative effort that the family can come back together again.
Yeah.
That's why I really wanted you to share with people, because now families can come back together with a coloring book and
Yeah.
activities.
Yeah. And we have like self-care books and we have all kind of books that talk about that, you know, like self-care, you know, we
Mhm.
talk, it's important. And oh, one last thing, if you can like spend time, even if it's 30 minutes, 20 minutes with yourself and then also with your
That's
family, like
good.
today, you know,
That's so
like
good.
you can't get that time back. So but
Yeah,
that's it.
we can't
Yeah,
go back in time. Yeah, I love that.
there's no do-overs.
No overs, no do-overs. But I thank you so much for the wisdom nuggets. I thank you for really stressing to us the importance of what relationships truly are about and how we have allowed other things affect and cause our relationships to be fragmented or
Yeah,
challenged in some kind of way. So thank you for clearing it up. Thank you for being available to us. And so
absolutely.
just drop that information in the feed. You can always go back in and type it in, and it'll be there for people to capture it. Yes.
Type it. Wait, hold on. It's saying comments. Wait, do I type it in there? How do I
Yeah,
even?
you can type it right on in the comments, and that way it'll be there for someone
Okay.
to be able to know how to contact you. But I will let everyone know that I'll go ahead and take y'all. Thank you, Lamarr. I'm gonna get you out of the screen so you can put it into the
Oh,
in the comments. Thank
okay.
you. So, everyone, that was my wonderful friend. She's amazing, Dr. Lamar Spencer, but she prefers Lamar. And I love her approach to helping people. She doesn't like to say that, she's coaching them through, she's helping them through to mend relationships and how to build, but you can have a healthy life balance. So, she is a life alignment strategist. She has a PhD in business management. And so she has just used all of those gifts, talent, and abilities to bring families together, to reestablish and to establish. And she also helps companies and organizations and ministers of the gospel as well. Anyone that requires that assistance, she's available for it. So, again, thank you for tuning in to Simply Free Little Talk, where the show is where the guests can freely talk about what they're presenting. And so we know that our mental, physical, and our spiritual state is really crucial. And that's what she's teaching us today through relationships. Thank you again. Appreciate it.